Okay, let's look in our math journal on page 35. I'll give everyone a second to get their finger right here at the learning objective. We should be on page 35. Everyone should have their finger under the word I. Okay, I'm waiting on just a couple of people. We need our highlighter and we need a pen or pencil. Okay, let's read this together. I can estimate sums to check answers for reasonableness. I can add multi-digit whole numbers fluently using the standard algorithm. That was kind of weak, so we're going to read it again. There's a lot of big words in here. I should see everyone's finger moving across the page. I can estimate sums to check answers for reasonableness. I can add multi-digit whole numbers fluently using the standard algorithm. I want to put a box around that word estimate. What does the word estimate mean? What does it mean to estimate? Trevor? Not guess. I mean, I can't just say, oh, 56,920 plus 1,205 is, oh, it might be around 70,000. I'm just going to guess at it. What does it mean? Trevor, go ahead. Try again. To get close, okay? So let's draw a little arrow up here and let's write down that this means to round, then add to get an answer that is close. Why? Why would we estimate? Why wouldn't we just want the exact answer? Why would we estimate? Ella?
Because sometimes you're not able to get the exact answer.
Okay, when? When might you not be able to get the exact answer?
When you're like counting maybe the population.
Well, that's a time we might estimate. Yes, that is true. But like if we're adding something, when might we not be able to get an exact answer? Huh? Okay, Cordelia?
When you're like adding big numbers and you want to estimate what it is instead of actually like adding it, when you're like trying to see, well, this is this, and I'm like kind of trying to estimate it because you might not be able to add some of the big numbers.
Okay, like if you don't have a piece of paper and pencil, or if you don't have a lot of time, or if you don't have a calculator. So for example, I think I gave this example before. I honestly believe that estimating is probably the most valuable math skill that we're going to learn this year. I think it's so important. Okay, and here's why. Because here's an example. When you go to the grocery store and you're an adult, you may know in your head, okay, I have a couple $100 to spend this week at the grocery store. And I can't go over that because I have a budget and it says $200 for groceries. So when I'm walking through the store, it would take me forever if I was putting my numbers in a calculator to get an exact sum. That would take me forever. Okay, let me walk through the store. Okay, this is $5.99. Okay, I'll put that in my cart. Okay, this is $3.48. Put that in my cart. Okay, now I'm up to $10.21. Okay, now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get this. Okay, that's $7.02. That would take so long. But if we estimate and I look and I'm saying, oh, that's about $6. That's about $4. That's $10. That's about $7. Now I'm up to 17, right? So I don't have to use the exact number. I just need to know if I'm getting close to $200, right? So that's a great example of when we might use estimating. And I can tell you that it is one of those things that you're going to use maybe more than any other math skill, is estimating. Okay? So we estimate when we don't have a piece of paper, when we're in a hurry, when we can't use a calculator. That's when it's great to estimate. But here's another great reason. Put a box around the word reasonableness and tell me what that means. Maybe you've heard your mom and dad say, "Oh, Levi, be reasonable." What does that mean?
Like, don't just get something that's like not even gonna be close.
Right, it's kind of like, "Hey, Mom, can I get a new Corvette for my birthday?" "Oh, Harper, be reasonable. You don't need a new Corvette, and that's way too expensive for a birthday present." What does reasonable mean? What does it mean? Addie?
It means be more specific.
Not to be specific.
To it's kind of be reasonable as
What?
like you need a reason for it.
Okay, to make
To like to be reasonable is like to
let me
you already know your parents are gonna not buy you that because it's too expensive or you're just not old enough.
Okay. How about the word logical? Do you know, is that a synonym? Or sensible? Say something that makes sense. And I'm not 100% sure how to spell sensible, but we know what that means. Logical or sensible? It doesn't mean that you're checking your answer to make sure that it's exactly correct, but it does mean that we're checking to see if our answer makes sense. Is it logical? Is it reasonable? If I'm adding 32 kittens plus 14 kittens and I come up with 324, that's not reasonable. That doesn't make any sense, okay? So reasonableness means we need to be able to look and estimate, and then we can decide after we add if it's a reasonable answer. It's really a way of checking your work, okay, Levi? Okay, so the question is this: how do we estimate? That's where this foldable comes in, okay? It's kind of like elevator doors, okay? There's a solid line, fold it on the solid line so that it looks like elevator doors. Nope, so when I open my elevator, there's stuff, okay? Okay, so how do we estimate in addition? Okay, and here's the important information. Okay, this is the most important part. Round first. A lot of times I see kids go through and they add it together and then they round their answer. That defeats the whole purpose of estimating, because what's one of the reasons we estimate? To be quick. So it's not quick if we add and then round. It's quick if we round and then add. Okay, so round first. And then here's our rules for rounding. Everyone highlight it. If the numbers are the same length, round to the highest place value column. So here are two numbers, 467 and 324. Are those the same length? They both have how many digits? 3, thank you. So we round them to the highest column or the hundreds place. So we're following our rounding rules. Underline the 4, point your arrow to the right. It's a 6. So what do I do with my 4? Nolan, should I leave it a 4 or make it a 5? Make it a 5 and then put everything after it to a 0. So it's 500 plus 324. Underline the 3, draw an arrow to the 2. Should I leave it a 3 or make it a 4? Ireland. Leave it a 3. So my estimate is 500 plus 300. We probably all already know the answer in our head. AJ, what's 500 plus 300? 800. Isn't that quick and easy? So this is what it means to check for reasonableness. when I add these two numbers, if I don't get something close to 800, my answer's wrong. Okay? It's a way to check. Did I regroup? Did I carry that 1 over and remember to add it in? Because if I got something that's like 200, I probably forgot to regroup. Okay? Did I make this a 1? Or let's look. Okay, 7 plus 4 is 11. 6 and 2 is 8. 4 and 3 is 7. Is 7,811 close to 800? No. So this answer is not reasonable. Okay? That's why we estimate, to see if our answer makes sense. So now let's add it. 7 plus 4 is 11. 6 and 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 4 and 3 is 7. Is 791 pretty close to 800?
Yes.
Yes. So that is what we call reasonable. Now, it doesn't guarantee that your adding is right, because let's say I would have thought 7 plus 4 is 12 and put down a 2. Then my answer is 792, and it's not correct, but is it reasonable? Is it close to 800? Yeah, it's just the first line of checking your work. It's just a quick way to check to make sure you didn't make any major error. Okay? So now, sometimes though, we have two numbers that are not the same length. How many digits are in 1,327? Show me with your fingers. How many digits in 1,327? 4. There's 4 digits. How many digits are in 843? 3. Thank you, Trista, for following with me. Okay, if the numbers are not the same length, round each number to the greatest place value column of the smallest number, or the greatest column they have in common. The greatest column that they both have. They don't both have a thousands digit, so I'm not rounding to the thousands place. They do both have a hundreds digit. Highlight the hundreds column. Everyone highlight the hundreds column. That's where you're rounding to. You have to round them to the same place value column. You have to round them to the same place value column. Okay? So we can't round them to the thousands. So 1,327, actually, we round it to the hundreds place. So go ahead and follow your rounding steps. Look to the right. It's 1,300. And then 843, follow the rounding steps. Look to the right, rounds to 800. What is 1,300 plus 800? 1,300 plus 800, what is it? Who can tell me? Every hand should be up, or you should be counting it on your fingers, or you should be writing it on a piece of paper. No one should just be sitting and waiting. Trista? 2,100. So when I add this together, 7 plus 3 is 10, 4 and 2 is 6, plus 1 makes 7, 8 and 3 makes 11. I get 2,170. Is that pretty close to 2,100?
Yep.
Yes. So my answer is reasonable. Okay? Now, it is the same when we estimate with subtraction. We follow the same rules. So which column am I going to round to? On here, on this one. They both have the same number of digits. Where am I rounding to? Every hand should be up. MJ, where am I going to round to? Not the hundreds. Morgan? Thousands. The highest one that they both have. Okay, so 8,461 would round to 8,000. 2,693 rounds to 3,000. What's 8,000 minus 3,000? Kaden rates? 5,000. So when I subtract, my answer should be close to 5,000. Tell me what you get. I need us to all be listening, not yelling out, please. Okay, what did you get when you subtracted, Avery? Okay, and that's what I got. Is that pretty close to 5,000? Yes, it's pretty close. It's not exact, but it's close. What column will I round to for this one? Where they don't have the same number of digits. What column should I highlight for rounding to, Owen?
Hundreds.
The hundreds. I can't round to the thousands because they don't both have a thousands digit. Okay, so this one rounds to 8,600 and this one rounds to 800. Okay, 8,600 minus 800 is 7,800. Okay, when I subtract, I should get something pretty close to 7,800. Is that pretty reasonable? I think so. 7,855 is pretty close to 7,800. Okay, once you have that written in there, just take a couple of dots of glue. You need about 4 dots of glue. That is it. Don't put them right on the edge. Bring them in just a tad. I don't know. Here. Okay, and glue it down on page 36. No one should have messy glue. 4 dots of glue.